him themselves. "Oh, Byron, you better get out of here. Go down to Bumphead until Dad gets home. He probably gonna whip you, but Mama's really gonna burn you," I told him. "Please, Byron, run! Get out of here!" Joey let go of my arm and ran over to Byron and tried to pull his fingers from around his throat. "Can't you tell? She's not playing!" Joey kept pulling at his hand, but it looked like Byron was hypnotized and he wouldn't move. We all nearly jumped through the roof when the snake woman's voice came back into the voice and said, "Joanna, move away from him." Mama was carrying a piece of paper towel, a jar of Vaseline, and a Band-Aid in one hand and a fresh, dry book of matches in the other. She wasn't even going to take him to the hospital. She was going to set him on fire, then patch him up right at home. Joetta saw the Vaseline and went crazy. "Oh no, Mommy! Let Daddy whip him! Please, please!" Joey began pulling her braids and stamping her feet up and down. "Please don't set him on fire!" Her face was all wet and twisted up and looked like a real nut. It was hard to do, but I kind of felt sorry for Byron, though not too sorry, because I knew he deserved whatever happened. First, because he had a chance to escape and didn't take it, and second, because he was being a bad influence on me. Nazi parachutes attack America and get shot down over the Flint River by Captain Byron Watson, and his flamethrower of death looked like a real cool movie for me to make too. If Mama just gave Byron some stupid punishment, then maybe it would be worth it for me to flush some Nazis down the drain myself. But if you get set on fire for doing it, the movie wasn't worth making. So while I felt sorry for Byron because of what was going to happen to him, I did want to see if Mama would keep her word, and I always wondered what part of him she'd burn. His face? His hair? Maybe she'd just scare him by setting his clothes on fire while he was in them. But if she was just going to set his clothes on fire, why did she need Vaseline? I knew Mama was going for skin. "Joanna, move away." Mama's voice still sounded strange. Joey spread her arms out to the side like a traffic cop and stood between Mama and Byron. "No, Mommy, wait." Mama gently set Joey to the side, but Joetta kept hopping back with her arms spread to protect Daddy Cool. They wrestled like this a couple of times before Mama finally set all the burning equipment down and sat on the coffee table and pulled Joey into her lap. She wiped Joey's stupid tears away with a paper towel and rocked her back and forth a couple of times, going, "Shh, honey, shh." When Joey finally stopped crying and blew her nose, Mama said, "Sweetheart, I'm so proud of you. I know you're trying to protect your brother, and that's a good thing. I know you don't want to see him get hurt, right?" Joey sniffled and said, "No, Mommy." "But honey, some of the time, Mama has to do things she doesn't want to do. Now, you really don't think I want to hurt Byron, do you?" Joey had to think about this. The matches and the first aid stuff and the crazy look Mama had in her eyes made it seem like hurting Byron was exactly what Mama wanted to do. After Joey didn't say anything, Mama had to answer the question herself. "No, dear. Mama doesn't want to hurt Byron, but I don't want you going to school smelling like smoke either, and I don't want to see you, or Kenneth, or Daddy, or Blackie, or Tigger, or Flipper, or Flapper get burned up either. And if that boy..." Mama's voice got strange again, and we all looked over at Byron, who was still being held on the couch by his own hands. "If that boy sets this house on fire with his nonsense, I don't know what I'm going to do." Mama's real voice was coming back. "So, Joetta, don't you see how Mama has to help Byron understand how dangerous and painful fire can be? Don't you see we've tried everything and nothing seems to get through that rock head of his?" Joetta thought about her stupid cat and goldfish getting burned up and looked kind of hard over at Byron. But look at him, Bobby. He's really, really scared this time. Maybe he won't. Joetta, he's not that scared yet. Then Mama dropped the bomb on Joey. Besides, don't you remember, sweetheart? Don't you remember when this happened last week? I swore to God that if Byron did it again, I would burn him. What do you think? Do you think I should break my word to God? Joey was at the age when you're real religious. She went to Sunday school 3 days a week. Oh, honey, should I break my word to God? No, Mommy, Joey said. Then she scrunched her face up like she was eating something sour and cried out, Since you promised, I guess you gotta do it. She took a giant breath and then sobbed, Go ahead, burn him up. Joey climbed off Mama's lap and Byron's eyes got bigger and bigger, but his traitor hands kept him pinned to the couch. But please, Bobby, don't burn him too bad, okay? Please, not too bad. Joey was starting up again. Don't worry, sweetheart, I won't. I'm just going to burn his fingers enough so he won't be tempted to be with fire ever again. Those were like magic words. They snapped Byron right out of his spell. Mama put on him. It was like his hand said, Fingers? Did she say she was going to burn someone's fingers? Because when they found out it was them that were going to get burned, they let go of Byron's throat and joined the rest of his body in deciding to wait at bump heads until Dad got home. Byron was fast. Mama was faster. He didn't even make it out of the living room before Mama tackled him. Mama sure is a good athlete. She sat on his chest and said, Not this time, Buster. This time you pay. She said, Buster. Byron squirmed around for a second and then did something I'd only seen him do a couple of times before. He started crying. Mama lit a match and grabbed Byron by the wrist and said, Put your finger out. I couldn't believe it. By's finger popped right out. He was hypnotized all over again. Mama's horrible snake woman voice came out again and said, If you ever. The match got closer and closer to Byron's skinny brown finger. Play with no. If you even look at Byron's hand, was shaking and he was crying like a big baby, but his fingers still stayed out. Another match in this house. The match was getting closer and closer, and I knew Byron could feel the heat. I will personally, by myself. It was so close now that I thought I could hear the sweat on Byron's finger getting turned into steam and going, psst. I will burn not just one finger, I will burn your entire hand, then send you to juvenile home. Byron closed his eyes and screamed. Right when the fire was going to give him a good roasting, Joetta ran across the room and, sounding like that little engine that thought it could, she blew the match out before it got him. She missed. Mom, she missed, and she stood there huffing and puffing and patooing at the match even after it went out. Mama's hand, Byron's finger, and the match were soaked with Joey's slob. Honey, we agreed, didn't we? Yes, Mommy. Joey looked down and said, But I thought you got him. Not yet, sweetheart, but I'm going to. 4 more times Mama lit a match, and 4 more times Joey patooed them out. Finally, Mama got sick of having slob all over her hand and gave up. That night, Byron had to deal with Dad. No picnic, but a lot better ending to his Nazi parachutes movie than Captain Byron Watson gets captured and burned alive by the evil snake woman with his own flamethrower of death.